Good morning, cousin. Welcome to our community divination ceremony, where we are asking, where does our attention need to be today in order to bring the most expansion in our relationship with our life and our practice? This is a specially curated divination ceremony for neurodivergent, black sheep, cycle-breaking queerdos. It's a full moon today, and it's not uncommon for me to go a little bit rogue on the full moons. And I'm feeling a type of way about it. I feel like this is like a pivotal moment in our lives. This particular full moon, and I don't know if I say this about all of the full moons, because they do all kind of have that, like, this is a pivotal moment in our lives feeling, especially with how crazy and chaotic the world seems right now. There's so much change that's happening all of the time, but this feels different. It feels like there's this like really deeply rooted core belief that you have, that we have, that once acknowledged and once the decision is made to actually let that go, to let go of that belief and to start engaging in a new way of like living, that is that like the thing you've been missing your whole life. It is the thing that is standing between you and everything you've ever known that your life could be. And I know that's a lot of words. But I wanted to check in before we get started. How are you feeling in your body today? I know that's like it seems out of left field, but I give you my word, they are like this. How are you feeling in your body right now? And I'm especially speaking to those who consider themselves spoonies or very sensitive to their body. How are you feeling in your body right now? There's a reason we feel the way that we feel when the moon is in the positioning that the moon is in, it allows us to see those extra sensitive places, the places that when we are not tired, like the places that you have to be tired, in pain, distracted, or frustrated in order to see them. There's a reason we feel this way, right? So, what is the thing that's like coming to the surface for you? What's the most like how are you feeling? Uh, Ocean put a poll up on the screen right there. I think that it's important for us to ask these questions in communal spaces so that you can see how connected we actually are. We are so much more connected than we've been made to believe. And it is so important for you to start paying attention to how your system interacts with the different moon phases. This isn't woo woo stuff. Even the ocean is influenced by the moon and how our bodies are what? How much water in our bodies? Come on now. Our belief that we're disconnected is what is keeping us bound. One of the many things that keeps us bound. Right. So when we are again, in these places that we're not at our peak, it makes us extra sensitive to things that wouldn't normally bother us because they're buried so deep. Right? We're so good at dissociating from these things until we're tired or hungry or whatever. So, what is the thing that's annoying you the most right now? When you're sitting, when you're in this place, what is the thing that is the most bothersome to you? Right. These are important questions to ask yourself. Interview yourself. What is irritating the most? That's going to give us the data that we need in order to bring our system into alignment, seek what needs accommodations and what needs uh, neural rewiring, creating new neural pathways. Okay. This is the important work. This is the deep work. This is the stuff that actually changes or influences your lived experience, are these deeper questions, changing your relationship when you are in these more sensitive places. This is a time to get curious. It's not a time to catch charges. Do something productive with the angst, guys. All right. So, as we are doing this reading, it's important to keep in mind that this is going to influence our full moon workings, the whatever ritual work that you do, whatever ceremonial work you do, whatever magical engaging that you do on full moons, that release work. What are you going to release? What is that thing? What is the belief? This reading is going to help to identify that because we're doing this reading on a full moon. Right? I think last month I really like dialed it in and was like, hey, we're doing this reading specifically for this. We are doing this reading specifically for that because we're doing this reading on a full moon. So, all right, guys. All of that being said, my goodness. Today's my Friday, but it's also usually one of the fuller days in my week. Yesterday was a wild ride because we were working, we as in like the Unbound, the witches that support the international community that we serve. We had this morning divination ceremony that we did. We also had the first class, the first meeting in magical space of our summer class that is going through a 13-month initiation process that is an intense shadow work process. That started yesterday as well. And we did the belief release, the full moon ritual for our coven. And so we did lots and lots of magical work yesterday. Uh, and today is the like business meetings, the all of us coming together because we all do this in different ways, support the community in different ways. We all come together and it's our meeting point where we talk about all of the stuff that we're doing. So that's happening today. It's also Ocean and I are doing more work in the workbook curriculum that we're creating for our coven. Our coven's a little different in that the purpose of our coven is expansion, that every witch, the more empowered each witch is, the more empowered every witch is. And so we're doing a lot of that kind of work so that we can get all the supports that our coven needs in order to have an expansive practice in witchcraft while supported by a community. And so many things. I think we're even painting a room here at Weirdbrook, one of the last bunk rooms, in preparation for all the witches that are going to be coming through here. September and October are looking to be really busy months here at Weirdbrook. And yeah, a lot is going on. So, and then of course we have our full moon rites that we do at Weirdbrook on the full moon, in the light of the full moon, in the middle of a 20-acre pasture. We're gonna march our happy selves out there and make it happen. I should like make some content or something and show you guys what we do. It's pretty fun. It's great. If you're envisioning, several witches hiking down a long road with their accoutrements in hand to a secret location to do witchy things that may or may not involve burning things, you're not far off. Okay, so let's get started. Let's get started in our divination ceremony. If this is your first time, you're welcome to lurk. You don't need any tools to participate. The way that I do this is different because I only work with witches. I don't do readings for the general population. And so I refuse to engage with you as if you don't have access to the same information that I do. We are equals in this space. This reading is just as much for me as it is for you. And yeah, you will see that there will be witches that put cards that they're drawing in the comments. That's so that we can get more data points, right? We can start seeing when we start pulling the same cards as well. All right. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to start by taking 3 deep breaths, and then I'm going to do what I do to get my system prepared for divination, meaning getting my mind, body, spirit, and spiritual homies all in one place so that I can get the clearest signal possible when I do this reading. Sounds like a drone investment. Yes, and someone to operate the drone. The hardest part about capturing what happens here at Weirdbrook is that everyone within vicinity gets caught up in what we're doing. And unless you are a person who immediately shifts into like they view their life through the lens of a camera, it's lost in that way. So it's very difficult to get someone into the Weirdbrook space We have to get someone here specifically for that, recognizing that it's gonna take some time for them to transition and then be able to actually pull the camera out. And also, my bedroom here in the 7-bedroom farmhouse that's on the homestead overlooks it's like a tower that overlooks this 20-acre pasture out in front of the farmhouse. And so, like, we can totally do some awesome camera angles out the windows here too. But do we? No, we don't. We don't. I know, it's a thing that we laugh and cry about regularly. It is so lovely, and there's fireflies out in the pasture now, and so at night, I open all my curtains, and there's just all these fireflies all over it is everything that a witch would want in an alternate dimension is here, like, at Weird Brook. It's very cool. Okay, now let's circle back. Let's circle back and lock in and do this divination ceremony. And let me make sure I have everything. Okay, 3 deep breaths, doing the thing. Here we go. I humbly invite all that is fire within this system to witness this working. And if alignment is found, may you choose to bless this flow. I humbly invite all that is air within this system to witness this working. And if alignment is found, may you choose to bless this flow. I humbly invite all that is earth within this system to witness this working. And if alignment is found, may you choose to bless this flow. I humbly invite all that is water within this system to witness this working. And if alignment is found, may you choose to bless this flow. I beckon to this system. May we now align as one. For my cousins are the elements, and so the moon and sun. I call to those who love me. You are welcome in this space, for our nature is united, sharing magic, life, and grace. And now we make a declaration of intention. What are we doing? I choose now, in this moment, to align with my whole self, to pull the book that tells my story from its place upon the shelf. I enter now this circle made of trust and hope and power. And I show up for my practice in this place and at this hour. Because I am home. Ocean is our mod god today, by the way. And they've been trying to get me to try this jasmine tea that they brought with them. This is the jasmine oolong that you brought, and it's fantastic. Like, my water's too cold. I think every single time I've tried to brew this tea, something's gone sideways. Water too cold. I forgot about it. Oversteeped. Like, all the things. But I think I finally. Yes, please. More of this. Okay. So we are asking, where does our attention need to be today in order to bring the most expansion in our relationship with our life and our practice? And we're going to be using tarot cards. I'm using the Tarotorial deck by Raven and Rogue, and that's going to become really relevant here soon because of the way that I'm going to do this. There's a prompt written on the card. Pamela with Raven and Rogue wrote that prompt. I'm not making this up. Okay. I'm going to read directly from the prompt and allow you to sit with your interpretation before I influence you. Okay. The influence is coming. I can't help myself, but I'm going to pump the brakes a bit because it's really important for you to prioritize your inside information over what someone's trying to tell you to do with your life on the internet, including myself. I know I'm very charming and an absolute delight, but you are the authority in your life. You'll see that other witches are also pulling cards. They are dialing this they're using this circle and this space to do their own personal divination as well. And then they're going to put them in the cards so that we can see what y'all are getting to. Okay. So here we go. Get our glasses and we check for critter glitter before we put them on our face. That's wisdom right there, guys. A little nugget. All right. We drew the Six of Pentacles reversed. So this is the card we drew. And I'm going to read directly from the card. Invest some time into self-care. You may have been in a giving mode for much too long. Others may have been taking advantage of you. So stop being a doormat and protect your finances and emotional health. Be mindful of taking on debt. And if you're being charitable, don't gloat. Be sure that you're doing it for the right reasons rather than trying to improve your image. And the upright is, because it's about the whole card. You may be like the wealthy person in this card, having a good relationship with money and in a position to offer financial assistance to others. Or you may be on the receiving end of someone's generosity and are accepting these gifts with gratitude. What's coming up? What facet of your relationship with your life is coming up right now? In what ways is what this card is talking about showing up for you? Jeez, tell me you live on a homestead without telling me you live on a homestead. My arms are like covered in being feasted upon, being a part of the ecosystem out here, guys. I'm being generous. I'm being overly generous, giving of myself too much. Okay. In all seriousness, as serious as I am able to muster, I'm not a serious person if you don't know me. So, Six of Pentacles. Did we, Lisa? Generosity, like, can be complicated. We can have this like complicated relationship with generosity. I came from like a strong Southern family. I can remember my mama ranting about how like she's not going to accept charity from anyone. Like charity is like a whole thing, and that accepting help from others was something that was like an indication of your powerlessness or your ineptitude or your lack of worth, right? So I've done a lot of work, done a lot of work on my relationship with not only, allowing people to help me, but in my inclination to help, because that is influenced by the same thing, right? The same perspective that views charity as, um, if you need charity or you need someone to be generous with you, generous with their resources, that means that you're failing in life and that you are less than. If you're ashamed to receive, that means that on the other side of that coin, if you are being generous, you are seeing them as less than. You are putting yourself on this, like, I'm able to be charitable because I am a better person than you in some way, right? Even if you don't, like, you're like really, really resistant to admitting that, that's probably a good indicator that there's something in there, right? So remember, you got to look at the root of your belief, both sides of the coin, both sides of the belief, right? If you believe that that you won't accept charity because it makes you less of a person, that means that when you are charitable to others, you believe that they are less of a person. There's a part of you that believes that. And that part could probably use your attention, because this, what this card is kind of talking about, is that interdependence. And a lot of us don't know what interdependence is because we were raised under the big cappy pappy that forced this, like, nuclear family and very individualistic way of engaging with our lives. So when I say interdependence, you're like, oh, do you mean codependence? No, interdependence is different. Okay. And it's a good thing for you to go off and look up, right? I don't need to control your interpretation of these things. So go off, look up what interdependence is, watch a bunch of videos. Uh, the distribution of resources within a community, uh, it looks different with every community, of course, but it begins that those systems of mutual aid, they begin with internally. You got to look at this belief right here. What is your relationship with giving and receiving? And this is something that could take years of digging to find all of how this particular facet of your life is. But this must be looked at before you can actually engage in community in a healthy and expansive way. You have to look at that. And, we were talking before coming into this reading how we are in some uh, very quickly changing times. There's a lot happening, a lot of unveiling happening, which is going to, we're watching the death throes of an archaic way of engaging with life. We're watching it crumble around us. And the medicine that will be needed, the medicine for this, is community. It's this interdependence that is what we're going to need the most. And so before the tower comes crashing down would be a great time to look at this, so that when it comes crashing down, because it's inevitable at this point, you are prepared. You know how to engage outside of that system that you were raised in. Okay. Helvey says, a big thing for me was realizing that co-regulation is healthy and asking for what you need is healthy too. Yes, it's a part of this, like, interdependence stuff. Okay. I am not saying that it is safe or comfortable for you to go into any, like, communal dynamic and ask for your needs, and you'll get them met. That's not unless that group has done some significant decolonization and deconstruction work, you're you're gonna be met in a way that reflects that. But that work begins within you. It's not dependent on whether or not you are connected right now with a system like that, because it's inward, okay? So when you are giving, um, I don't even it feels like it's not about when you are giving. It's the work here, the shadow is in where you're receiving. That's where the work is. Um, because of what I said, that's the same coin. If you believe that you are less than because you are receiving, there is absolutely no way that you don't believe that when you are giving, that you are better than in some way the person you are giving to. You just don't want to admit that. Okay. And that's pokey as shit to a lot of us that kind of run into that martyrdom stuff or like overgiving. Yeah. Okay. So what Tama says in the comments was really great. They said that they left Home Depot without their garden soil because they were too mad at themselves for not being able to physically lift the bag anymore. Someone offered help, and I said no and left without it. That would be a great opportunity to uh, engage in this exercise right here in telling yourself, I'm allowed accommodations. I am not less than because I'm not able to do this myself. Right? I could do an entire year program just on our relationship with our physical bodies as people who are not able-bodied. It's the it's deep. It's deep stuff. And it's inevitable. I will someday do it. I've been working on an outline for it for years, but allow yourself to receive help without going into shame, right? Because that shame is rooted in the belief that you are less than. So whenever you give, it's diluted, it's distorted by that belief. Okay. Right. So now we got to look at um, what we're in resistance to or in denial of that's influencing our ability to see our relationship with interdependence clearly. The Two of Pentacles reversed. Look at all these pentacles, guys. Jeez. I don't think we've ever drawn as many pentacles as we have. Well, we went from swords to pentacles. I'll take that. Honestly, that makes a lot of sense. The more I think about that. Okay, so I'm going to read this card. I'm going to read that prompt, and then we're going to talk about it. All right. You guys are all pulling cups. My word. Okay. You're having a difficult time keeping everything together. You may be feeling overwhelmed with your schedule, with bills, or perhaps more. Turn down events or plans that aren't in alignment with your needs or goals. Only bite off as much as you can chew and prioritize what's important. Don't overinvest into things that aren't important. If you're neglecting home for work, then maybe it's time for a switch. And then the Two of Pentacles upright. You're managing projects and time well, and you're finding that you're navigating through your responsibilities with carefully plotted ease. You are certainly busy, however, so be sure to take the time to breathe and keep a tidy schedule to avoid losing your balance. So, what does that mean? This is what you're in resistance to or in denial of that is influencing your ability to engage in an expansive, interdependent relationship. Okay. I'm feeling into it as well. It's a little twisty. This one's a little twisty. Because the 2 of Pentacles is very much about time management. It has to do with, like, how you, like, spend your time, uh, and the responsibilities mostly that have to do with, like, time. And what I find interesting about this is I wasn't expecting it to, like, this is, like, coming at me in a way I wasn't expecting it to, because, you know, usually hold on. So usually the pentacles have to do with, like, material or uh, success. It's more financial or resources, right? Related. This two of pentacles is very much kind of highlighted as all right. So if you don't have a lot as far as like physical resources that you are being generous about, this is like saying, hey, you give of your time a lot and you're kind of underestimating the value of that for one. But how do you, I mean, it feels like this whole conversation is more about your mental and emotional labor and generosity than like someone giving you food or you giving someone food. Right? It feels like time, emotional labor, attention, what Heather said, is what you're overlooking. Right? This is pushed into shadow as something that is an unending resource for you, my dear. And this is a reminder that you're being potentially overly generous with your mental and emotional labor, and it's influencing your ability to engage in that interdependence because you're not taking your time into consideration. So you're being overly generous and you don't even realize it because it's not money that you're giving. It's not um you know being generous with your like resources that you have, acquired resources. You're being really generous with your mental and emotional labor, and it's costing you in ways that you're not taking into account when you're when you're negotiating those interdependent relationships. Okay. Do you see? Do you see? Okay. So what do we do about that, right? Well, shit. Now what do we do? Um, this is the medicine is in the shadow here. This thing that you're in resistance to, our medicine is here. So what we do is we take inventory. And this is a step back. And if you're a list maker, make a list. If you're obsessed with spreadsheets, put it in a spreadsheet. I don't know how those work, but I think you could probably make a spreadsheet for this. But start ocean. Don't choke on your snack. Okay. Do what you need to do, but you need to get it out of your head and into something that you can actually see and engage with of how am I investing my physical, mental, and emotional labor? How much time is that taking out of my life? How much am I actually giving? Where am I leaking? Okay. You got to check your hoses, guys. Check your hoses. There's a leak somewhere. And in order for you to get the harvest that you're wanting, you got to fix that leak. You got to check your system here. Okay, so the lovers have been waving. The lovers didn't come up today, but they did for several days, right? So this is not saying that you have to be working all the time toward this life of your dreams thing. You were here for a specific experience, right? This life that you like feel in your bones is the way it needs to be, the way it should be. Like you can't imagine yourself any other way, but yet you're engaging in this way and it just doesn't, right? You are on this constant trajectory toward this like life that you are here to do. Um and we we are not taught to take inventory of where we're investing because we're already investing so much in perpetuating a system that we actually don't agree with. So we're taught to put our heads in the sand and to dissociate through those experiences instead of stepping back and saying, wait a fucking minute. Yo, now's time to step back and be like, wait a minute. I may be working 9 to 5, but I'm thinking about what goes on at work and stressing about it for the entire rest of the day, unless I find a really good way of dissociating with it. That's a problem, which that's those scary decisions that we've been talking about is to get you out of that. That's not living, and you know that. But it's that ability to be interdependent that's going to extricate you from that system. Okay. Hello, Heidi. All right. This is our divination ceremony for today. Happy full moon, by the way. This is a really, really good one. In what ways are you said taking for granted, underestimating, assigning little value to your mental and emotional labor? Right? Look at that. Make your spreadsheets, make your lists, take a look. You don't have to do anything about it. You just have to, I mean, if you count looking as doing, look at it. Okay. The doing is going to come later. This is data collection. Yeah. what Ocean said. The bright and dark center is Ocean. Okay. Just take inventory, let that light of the full moon shine on all of those shameful bits. Just like expose yourself, guys. Show me, show me the ways that I am cutting myself off at the knees. This is the way. This is one of the ways that you're doing that is undervaluing a massive um, source of power. Okay. Yeah. All right. This is great. This is a lot of fun hanging out with you as always. I am going to head out and we're going to close out this working. I will be back to do another divination ceremony on Friday. However, if you want to see my face sooner, then you can come to the grimoire reading on Wednesday. Every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I go live and read for an hour from the grimoire of the ungovernable. And then for another hour, it's an open Q&A. And you get to ask me questions as well as witches that have been practicing the tradition that we're talking about in the grimoire for a minimum of like 5 years. So you get people with lived experience of this perspective and tradition. So that's happening on Wednesday. I would love to see you there. And I think that's it. Okay. All right. So let's close out this working. Hand on your heart. Take a deep breath. This working is now closing, but the magic has just begun. I humbly thank the elements and both the moon and sun. To all who chose to bless this flow, I now sincerely thank you. May our practice be expansive and our course be clear and true. All right, witches. Until I see you again, if you can't be good at it. Goodbye.